Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. If I haven't seen you this year, Happy New Year. Happy 2021. I pray that this year brings us all goodness and peace and love and, good health and just many, 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 many more years. So welcome to my show. Welcome to Tea Time with Dr. Iyabo. This is my second episode of 2021 and I'm so excited for today because you guys know I love everything business and I love everything relationship. So we had the first business one last week with the amazing Nick Page. And then today we have the relationship one with the amazing Kishan Scott. So I honestly my mission again is to help women live a fulfilling, purpose-driven, and financially free life. So that is what I'm hoping to achieve with everything that I'm doing with my Tea Time series. So welcome everybody. I'm so glad that you're here. Hi Motes. Hi Dr. Jumoke. Hi everybody. Hi Dr. Nkem. Hi Kumi. Everybody welcome. Please send this live to your friends because honestly we're going to be dissecting everything down about relationships. It's not just for single women. It's for singles and divorced women and even married women. We all have something to learn from this. Hi, Kishan. I'm ready when you are. Just request to be on my live and let's just dive in. Because when you're having fun, time goes by fast. So yeah, welcome everybody. I'm glad you're here. Again, send this live to your friends and tell them to join us. If you don't know how to send it, I just learned that a while ago. Click onto the arrow that you see on your screen and send it to them and tell them that Dr. Iyabo is discussing relationships today. We're discussing ways that we can elevate, choose better, date wisely, have happier marriages, and we're hearing it from a man's perspective. So yeah, so Kishan, please request to join me. I'll let you join first, and then I'm going to give a brief bio of who you are and what you do, and we'll just dive in. Okay, let's do it. Welcome, 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 everybody. Do you have your tea and your snacks with you? Just sit back and relax. Hi, Kishan.
Hey.
How are you?
Back this up a little bit. I'm doing good. You?
Good, good, good. I'm doing well. Yes. I've been waiting for this day for a long time. So
Since
I'm
last
glad
year.
that, yes, I'm glad that you're here today to help all my beautiful women out there. And I'm sure you've been following me long enough to know what my passions are. I'm somebody that looks within to try to find peace and goodness for myself. I don't finger point. And some people don't like that. Some people prefer you to say, oh, men are doing this or men are doing that. For me, I try to uplift women by empowering them to be the best they can be. So everybody welcome Kishan Scott. Please give him a thumbs up. Say hi to him. And Kishan is a Brooklyn native. So he was born in New York, right? Correct?
Now, I was actually born in Trinidad.
Ah,
yeah.
I was
and then
going
I
to
came,
say that I noticed a little bit of a hint of some accents there.
accent.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. A
Okay.
lot of people say that. Well, I was born in Trinidad, raised in Barbados, and then I came to America when I was 8. So I'm a Caribbean boy.
Ah, okay. Makes sense. Makes total sense. Total sense. Your accent and just your demeanor, everything. Okay. So, yeah, so he's just told you where he was born, Trinidad and then Barbados, but he grew up in Brooklyn and he's driven many millennials to stable relationships, authenticity in relationships, heartbreak awareness, and a variety of interpersonal and personal relationships. He's also an author. So all of you, when you're done, please, when we're done, make sure you follow him because he has a lot to offer. And I've been following him for a while, and every post he posts, I'm just like, oh my goodness, I wish every woman would find Kishan because this is what I teach women to just figure out. So, okay, so we're going to dive in. And people, I can multitask. I can talk as well as note your questions. I want you guys to please type your questions as we're going on. I'll manage this 1 hour really effectively. So, so Kishan, I want to define what I believe is a high quality man.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I want you to tell me if you agree with me and if you have any other personality traits to add.
All right.
So I thought about this in my quiet time. I define a high quality man as a man who has a mission in life, who has some kind of big ambition. It doesn't have to be, money related, but he has some ambition and mission in life. He has a job, or he could be in between jobs, but he's had a job before and he's waiting to start another job. He takes care of his physical and mental health. He respects all people, right? He has a global mindset. He understands that people from all corners of the world are the same. I know this is a long definition, but I honestly took time to write it down. And then he understands that his girlfriend or wife to be comes right after his devotion to God. His wife doesn't come after his parents. His wife doesn't come after his kids. If it's like, he's been married before, his wife is next to his devotion to God. Do you agree? And do you add any other personalities for a high quality man?
I agree 145% with that. And one of the things is that you have to know, I think everybody should have wrote down what you just said, right? That's number one. You need that. What I will add towards those things is to pay attention more to the purpose of where he's going. Pay attention to the purpose, because he has to have some kind of, because I always tell people relation is the connection, right? Ship is where you're going. So you can't just be dating someone or in a relationship to pass time. You have to be dating with a purpose. You have to be dating with substance. You can't be dating people who don't know where they're going in life. A lot of people, you said in between jobs, right? A lot of people be in between jobs for years. All right. If you're in between jobs, you could be in between jobs for 2 to 3 months, but it has to be action behind the 2 to 3 months, and also action behind the in between jobs. The thing about it is that a lot of people like to make excuses for themselves, and they have no purpose or no passion for their life. And they will string you along. And before you know it, there's a lot of women who are spending 3 to 4 years, 5 years, 10 years in a relationship, hoping that, he can act right, hoping that he can find a job, hoping that he could provide. And, in between jobs, he's in between his feelings, he's in between his emotions, he's in between communication skills. There's so much in between. But a man who really wants you, and I want you to understand this, a man who really wants you, he will pursue you. You understand? He will be in between jobs, but he's fighting in order to provide for you, in order to love you more, in order to give you the things that he knows that you deserve. All right. And it's not only monetary things or physical things. These things are emotional things, spiritual things, and also mental things. And one thing that you said to finish it off is absolutely after God. It's God and then it's his wife, right? Period. God and then his wife. You can't have family members getting involved. They putting their 2 cents in. If you're not communicating with your spouse, you're communicating with God. You're not going to go down there and speak to the mom, the dad, the sister, the brother, the niece, or the nephew, and have everybody in your business and everybody in your relationship who don't have to deal with the consequences of what you and your spouse is going through. And sometimes these people who's talking could get into your mind and alter your decision as well, and your love.
You see why I love Kishan. You see why I've been waiting for this day. So you guys, I hope you got all that. But the replay will be on my YouTube channel, not on my Instagram, but on my YouTube. Why? Because I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. That's why. Okay. And that last statement that I made about a man being devoted to God first and then his wife comes after is because of my personal experience. That's what led to my divorce. And if my ex was here watching this, he can't deny that that's what it is. I've healed from my divorce. It's been 11 years now, but he allowed his mom to influence him too much. And I got tired of having to battle with his mom because everything I said was, oh, but that's my mother, but she raised me. How dare you hide? I mean, there were things he told his mom first before he told me. So, you know, after how many years? We were married for 15 and together for 8. So after 23 years, I got tired. I'm like, I can't win this battle. I'm not going to battle with you and your mom because it seems like she's the first wife. So I'm healed from it. I can say it freely now, and that's one of my later questions. So Now let's move on. So I wanted women to understand. I started with that because women are confused about who a high quality man is. And I get these questions in my DM all the time. So women, notice I didn't say high quality man is a rich man. Notice I didn't say high quality man is a man who can provide everything for you, put you in the mansion, buy you the luxury cars, take you on the fantastic vacations, and you sit down and you don't pursue your life. That is where a lot of you are getting it wrong. So, Kishan, my first question. So since we now know who a high quality man is, and women, if you're expecting this live for me to be talking about the wrong things that men do, you're probably not going to be satisfied.
Wrong
I
place.
want you to work on yourself.
Yeah.
You know why? Because you can't control any human being. You cannot, you guys spend your whole entire lifestyle trying to change a man, trying to control him. If you're not satisfied with your life, pack your suitcases and move out. God didn't say divorce is terrible. So now that we know who a high quality man is, Kishan, what do high quality men desire in a high quality woman?
I say one thing is emotional support. Emotional support.
Really?
Yeah, emotional support, because a lot of men, they don't know how to express themselves. We express ourselves very angrily, and we are always on defense because we always want to protect, you know, who we are, our masculinity. Because if we feel like you're disrespecting us, sometimes women are not even disrespecting us. Sometimes they're just telling you something. But in our minds already, and I'm not speaking for all men, but some men, that we are already defensive, because in our mind it's like, okay, she's against me now, that means she doesn't love me. No, she just means that she loves you enough to tell you that you're wrong. So me personally, I love somebody to tell me when I'm wrong so I can grow from it. So a real man, a high quality real man, to add on to that, someone who really wants a relationship and not kind of want a relationship, because there's a lot of lukewarm men who wants relationship based on the idea of what it brings, the companionship, the sex, you know, the eye candy. Maybe they don't want to be alone. Maybe all their friends are manning up and they're getting married. So a high quality real man, what he wants to see in a woman is someone who's, number one, wife material, someone who's caring, someone who's loving, someone who they know that can push them to the next level as well, without being kind of you know, I didn't want to say the word, but not being too aggressive or pushy or blaming him, but someone who can understand that. And also, that comes when you guys are equally yoked. I think that's a very important thing. When you are equally yoked and you both are going in the same direction, then you know that if something's going on in your marriage or your relationship, you know who to turn to, right? Instead of turning to your friends, instead of turning to your mom, your dad, your sisters, your brothers, your coworkers, because there's a lot of people who speak to their coworkers, you know, men too. They'll vent to other women, because cheating is not only physically, cheating is also an emotional thing. So if you're talking to another woman, you know, more than your wife, and you're consoling emotionally into that woman, you're also cheating on your wife. You're not supposed to be talking to the other woman. The other woman shouldn't know anything about your business. You know, you talk too much. So what you need to do now is ask God for the spirit or the anointing to have a communicative heart in order so you can speak to your wife. And it's the most uncomfortable thing. But when you learn the things that's holding you back from being your whole authentic self to your wife, that's when, you know, you can actually love better. But as well, we're looking for a woman who's understanding of that. And men take a long time to change and do better. So one thing, when I was changing within me, my anger problems, you know, a lot of things within me, I want to be able to freely tell my wife, hey, listen, I know that I talk to you wrong, and I know that I have these issues when I'm kind of aggressive. I'm changing, but it's going to take time. It's not going to happen next week. It's not going to happen next month. It's not going to happen 2 months after that. It might not happen in 3 months, but I want you to see I'm gradually trying my best. So if I do fall, have grace for me. If I do mess up, have grace for me, right? And grace is important, because if you don't have grace, then when I do fall, she's going to say, oh, see, I knew it. It's been a week already, and you messing up already. I don't want to hear that. I just want to hear, babe, just get it back up and try again. So to sum it up, we're looking for someone who could support us emotionally, physically, and mentally without being condescending and being aggressive to our change.
That's really good to know.
Yeah.
And I do agree with you. I totally agree about the emotional support. However, you said wife material. Can you expand on that? What does wife material mean?
I mean, when you're in a relationship, right, that you're not married, see a lot of people they give wife benefits or even
Ah,
husband benefits in the beginning of a relationship, right? And I know you feel
no.
this. I know.
Oh my gosh.
This is gonna be a
Yes.
good Sunday. This is
Let
gonna be
me
a good
just
Sunday.
breathe. I need to
Hmm.
just breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the truth, you know. There's a lot of men and women who give these benefits. You know, you cook, you clean, you do their laundry faithfully. You know, you're always there. You're giving money. You're doing this. You're paying bills. You're paying their rent. You're living with them. You're cleaning their home. So, and then he or she, hey, let's go get married now. For what? Yeah, like, what is that going to prove? I already love you. You're already doing this, all this stuff. Why are we even getting married to prove that I already love you? I already do. You know, so there's the materials. Save. You have to be so strict in where you want to go and what you want out of a relationship and out of marriage that you never compromise or settle, you know, or give people more than they deserve at the appointed time, right? Because there's a appointed time for everything. So when you're doing all this stuff, you're going on vacations, you're doing all this stuff, there's nothing else special for you to do because you've been doing this all along. It's like we're going to get married and then we'll go back to the same thing. So honestly, I think that's the wife and husband material kind of things when you're given the things that you should be giving to a spouse exclusively to someone who has the permission and the consent to go whenever they want. Boyfriend and girlfriend, I can leave whenever I want. There's no commitment. You know, I didn't give my heart or my words to anyone yet. So the door is open,
Including engagement.
including
Including
engagement. Yeah,
engagement.
engagement. You're still single.
Yeah.
You might be, you know,
Yes.
yeah.
Can you say that one more time, Kishan, to women that engagement means single? I want them to hear it from a man's voice.
Oh man, let me tell you something. This is why I tell people this. There's two breakups, right? That we always hear. We always hear, I'm breaking up with you in a relationship and I'm breaking off the engagement. You never hear I'm breaking off a marriage, right? Marriage is the divorce part, right? That's the next level of it. So if you're engaged, you're still single. If you have a fiance or, you know, you're still single, right? If you're in a relationship with a boyfriend or girlfriend, you're still single because that door is always open for them to go and leave without any consequences or repercussions. With a divorce, you have paperwork, you have to pay financially. I mean, you might have children in either or situation, but when you're divorced and a child here that mommy and daddy were married and now we're divorced, that hits a little harder than we were in a relationship and the relationship just didn't work out. Maybe you weren't compatible. But when you get into that divorce stage, something sparked. You loved each other at one point, and I don't take that away from anyone. You always loved your partner at one point. Things then gradually didn't,
Yes.
work
Of
out
course.
and you
Yeah.
kind of shifted different ways. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that plain and simple for you, Doc, if you are in a relationship, you're single. And if you are engaged, you are single.
And you see how he moved towards the camera so you
I
could
have to,
really
I have to
get it,
look
women?
into the eyes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, I do that too. When I really want people, women to get it, I'm like, that works. So, women, if you don't get anything from this live,
Hmm.
stop doing his laundry and cooking meals every day and moving in
Hmm.
with him and all that stuff
And all that stress.
until,
Hmm.
yeah, all of it. We don't have enough time to say it because if
Yeah.
you're already giving him all the marriage benefits, there's no need for him to propose to you. Some of you message me and you're like, you've been engaged for 5 years, you live together, how can you get him to marry you? He keeps putting it off. I'm
Hmm.
like, the only thing you can do at that point is actually to tell him that enough is enough. I'm moving out. I found my own apartment. I'm moving out because my main goal is marriage. I'm not going to stay here anymore. But none
Yeah.
of you is strong enough to do that,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And I have lots of questions, but I knew that this was going to be fluid.
Hmm.
Equally yoked.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Equally yoked mean that you're going in the right direction together, right? You guys have the same focus. For example, let me give you an example of what equally yoked is not. And this is nothing against any religion. This is nothing against anyone in their own belief. If you have your own belief, then that's fine, and I respect you. I'm just speaking on my belief standpoint. So if you have someone who is pretty much a 7-day Adventist, and you have someone who is a Christian Pentecostal, right? And one person goes to church on a Saturday and one person goes to church on a Sunday. So now if you're in a relationship now, you guys fell in love, and one person, hey, we should go to church on a Saturday. Another person like, no, we should go on a Sunday. Then that right there is going to be, some kind of issues there, right? So equally yoked in that point is that you have the same kind of beliefs, but you still have different directions that you're going in, right? Another thing is your belief. Have best belief. No, you have a non-believer and you have someone who believes in God. You have one person who's telling, and it gets terrible actually when you have children. When you have children and it feels like you're trying to rip the child's in the middle and you're trying to rip them apart. You have someone who believes in God. You have someone who doesn't, right? And then this person said, oh, let's go to church. Let's pray every day. Let's pray over our food. Then you have the dad or the mom who doesn't want to pray. They don't want to, pray over the food. And then the child's like, you know what? I don't want to do it either. Mom, you could do it by yourself. So now the mom feels like, she's inadequate, like her purpose. And then every night she's on her knees praying. She's praying. She's crying. Her hand is up and she's like, God, I need you to help my family become believers. I know that you're doing this for me. And that's so tough and so hard when you're not equally yoked. That's why in the dating stage, while we're here today, the dating stage, you have to ask the right questions in the beginning. A lot of people, we don't ask the right questions. We just look in somebody's eyes, we see them smile, and we fall in love because we fall in love with the idea of the relationship, but not the substance or the purpose of the direction God want to take you or where you want to take yourself. So that's why a lot of relationship, you bump heads, you're not equally yoked, you get into issues 6 months to 12 months down the line. And then you said, I wonder what went wrong. What went wrong is because you moved too fast. You wanted love so bad because you were lonely and you missed all the red flags and all the warning signs. And now you have to pick up the pieces that you broke. And I say you broke it because you should have known better.
Guys, I'm sure you guys are giving him a round of applause where you are. So I love that definition. You know why I love it? Because a lot of women feel like equally yoked only means you both have to be Christians, you both have to be born again. I liked your definition, and let me tell you why. Because it's not every Christian man that is a high quality man. There are many Christian men who cheat on their wives and all sorts of other things we're not going to get into right at this point. But if you have a man who is still in the transition of learning to know God and learning to know Jesus Christ, is willing to go to church with you and all of that, and you pray together at during meal times, I still think that is something you should consider. The person doesn't have to be a Christian reading his Bible, going to church every day. That is not all that matters. A lot of women only base a lot of Christian women, as long as he's Christian and he's going to church, everything else is fine for them. They don't look at his other personality traits, because this is a big problem that I get in my DM a lot. Oh, but he's Christian, but he's beating you up every day. He's Christian, but he has like 10 girlfriends that you're aware of. So, I don't want women to leave out those men, because there are many men. I was single for 10 years and I did date quite a lot. There are some men who you'll ask and they'll say, I'm on a journey. I'm still in my phase. I'm getting to know, but I will come to church with you. I will, I will read the Bible. I will come to church with you. So I don't want us to put away people that God himself may have put in our lives to actually move them closer to God. Do you want to try to expand on that? Being a Christian man isn't all that you require to get married to him. My ex was a Christian, but he didn't understand that I came before his mother. His mother was like 10 times before me. So, how do we solve that problem for women? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand. A lot of people think that, oh, he's Christian, so he must be good, right? Or, he goes to church, he comes from a good home, but what about the substance of a person? So that goes back into what about the substance? What else could they provide? I always tell people this, oh, he's a good man. I say, what else? He goes to church. What else?
Yeah.
Oh, he loves God. What else?
Yeah.
He cooks. What else? Like tell me something that he or she does, right, that you can never live without or that you can't get anywhere else, right?
Absolutely.
Tell me something that they do or that they can do, right, that makes you say, wow, this person, my life is better because I met this person. 9 times out of 10, when people are going through breakups and heartbreaks, which I help people with, and I ask them, what is one thing in the 5, 6 years that you've been together? What is one thing that he did, right, that you couldn't live without, right? That he changed your
That's a
entire
good
life.
question.
And then they'd be like, nothing, right? It's a bunch of heartache, right? There is nothing that they can do. So my thing is, and people, and to go with the church and the Christianity, people say, but he loves me, or but she loves me. And then you said, what else? Right? Because you can't build a strong foundation or relationship on love alone. Just like you can't just build a strong relationship on God alone. Because in the Bible, it does say faith without deeds is dead. And that's for every aspect of your life. So you can have all the faith in the world that he's a good man, that she's a good woman, that he can do this, that he can do that. But what about the deeds? What about the actions behind the faith that you have in the relationship? Of course, they love you, but do they respect you? Right? Of course, they love you, but do they communicate with you effectively? Right? Are they open? Right? Do they meet the requirements of your requirements? And I tell people that you have to meet the requirements of your requirements. You can't ask for somebody who's God-fearing and you're not. You can't ask for somebody honest and you're not. You can't ask for somebody who loves themselves inside and out, and in order to expose that to you, and you're not being there, honest or trustworthy. You cannot ask for something that you can't give. And there's a lot of people in the dating age now who's in the asking stage, but they're not in the giving stage. And there's a lot of people, I've been hurt too much. I want somebody who's this. I want somebody who's that. He better be this or she better be that, because I've been hurt too much. What about the other person? What about if they've been hurt too much? What are they expecting? Right? So you have to meet those expectations of your expectations as well.
Yes. I really loved that we talked about that, because I don't want people to, Christian women, you always think that, oh, he's a Christian man, everything. Christian is a label. I hope you guys know that. Christian is a label. Is he Christ-like? Is this what Christ would do? Would Christ say, I love you, and then slap you across the face? Would Christ say, I love you, and then go out and start dating all the other women in the neighborhood? So Christian is a label. Anybody can call that. You can call yourself a doctor and you can be a quack doctor. But do you really understand how to practice medicine? So on to the next question. What are 3 common mistakes that single women make in dating? 3 that you see the most while they're in the dating phase.
I would say moving too fast, moving on the idea of a relationship, number one, looking at social media, because a lot of men and women, right? I know we're talking about women, but I love to say men and women because there's some men in there too. And so men and women, and men, if you're in the live and I'm saying women, just vice versa, it, instead of saying, what about men? So they move too fast because a lot of people and a lot of DMs that I get in messages is, I'll never be happy. Right? I need someone to complete me. I need to be married. I need this. And my question is, if that never happens, what are you going to do? Right? And I'm honest, like, what are you going to kill yourself? Do you feel like, because some people feel as if relationships and love is everything in life. And if they don't have that, then their life means nothing. Right? And there's so much substance in your life that you refuse to see because you're blinded by the idea of a relationship. You're blinded by the idea of having someone. You feel like if I don't have a child before a certain age, then like all my friends will look at me as I'm not valuable enough. So one of the biggest mistakes is you're loving out of loneliness. You're not loving because you're whole and you're looking for someone to complete you, right? A lot of us, we're just looking for a companion. We're just looking for somebody to pass time with. And the error in that whole entire concept is that you cannot love out of loneliness. And that's number one, loving out of loneliness. Number 2 is having these big, gigantic expectations from people, right? We have these big expectations. We want this person to be this. You got to be making 100K a year. You got to be, this got to be God-fearing. You got to be this tall. You got to be this weight, And what that does is that makes a lot of people insecure. That makes a lot of people, value who they are less, right? Their self-esteem goes down. Because all they see on social media is that you have to have a fake butt, you have to have fake boobs, you have to be light skinned, you have to get your lips done, you have to have a Louis Vuitton bag, you have to have all these materialistic things in order to have a man, or that's what men like. And what we need to understand is that your value is not in possessions, your value is in purpose, right? And I'm gonna say it again for people: your value is not in possessions, but your value is in purpose. And if your standards and your expectations doesn't have purpose, you will never attract someone with purpose. You have to be so, and I tell people cocky in a way, but you have to be cocky in your faith. You have to tell people, I know my worth. You know that song, I know who I am. And I don't know. It's a
I
song.
don't remember it now.
Um, I forgot who says that. It's just I forgot how the song goes, but the song goes like, I know who I am. Gotta say, but song like that, right? But pretty much
Yeah.
what it's saying is that when you know who you are and you know where you're going, and you're so confident in your purpose, and then when people, you will have the crazy discernment to know who's not right for you and who's right for you. You will just know that, I'm sorry, I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want you to waste my time. So this ain't gonna work. We have to understand dating is a thing. Number three, I will definitely say a lot of people aren't healed. We're looking for other people to be a band-aid in our life. Overall, we're looking for people to be a band-aid. A lot of us were not healed at all. We're still looking for something that we can't find within ourselves. So we search outside of ourselves to kind of find that, and that's why we date for 2-3 months and then we jump into something else, right? Because we say, oh, he don't have it. Now I'm jump to something else. Oh, he don't have it. He did one thing like your ex. He did one thing like your ex, and you feel like all men aren't right or all men are dogs. And we looking for flaws in the person we lost in other people so we can be right. That women that can be right, that all men are dogs, all women are right. So definitely number three is expecting other people to fix what's broken in us. That's why I tell people we need a hard reset. We need a break. We need to take 2 to 3 months off, maybe 6 months, and focus on you, right? Because at the end of the day, if you die right now, God forbid, if anybody dies, listen to the live right now, and your life is gone, right? Because life is like a vapor. Life goes on without you. Those people, your ex, they go on. They live. We grieve, but then we live. But our purpose now, while we're here, we have to do what's best for us. And if that's taken 6 months or a year to heal us so we can be the best version of ourselves to give to other people, then so be it. I'm on timeout for a year. I'll be on timeout for a year. And that happens in marriages too, but that's a whole different conversation on working on who you are in order to be the best self to other people.
Wow. You're a gift to the world. You're a gift to the relationship world, Kishan. I took 2 years off, saying that. I remember I was in a 4-year relationship after my divorce. Then after we broke up, I just couldn't match up with any man. I was dating so much. I just couldn't, find a man that I felt that was meeting my standards. So I took 2 years off at the advice of my pastor. I was just sitting in church that day, and it's like he was talking to me. He's like, so some of you women, you date, and you just get tired. If you're not being successful, take some time off. Take a minimum of 1 year off. And I decided to take 2 years off. And I honestly did not date anybody. And those 2 years were 2 of my best years ever. If you guys follow me, you know what I was able to achieve in those 2 years. As you were talking, I was writing down keywords. Women, your self-esteem, your self-confidence, your value, and your purpose. There's nothing that is going to make you happier in this world. There's no husband that is going to make you happy unless you're happy yourself. You see all my reels, you see my posts.
Yeah.
Your husband will bring his happiness to join into your happiness, and you guys will be happy together, and you'll live your purpose together, and you'll do all that. So you cannot be depressed. And if you're depressed and sad, or you're feeling, or you have low self-esteem, right now on this live, stop dating. Stop dating. You find yourself first. You find what makes you happy. You find what makes you thrive and what makes you really just feel like, oh, I'm alive. And that is your purpose. Kishan has said it. I've said it too. You have to, and your purpose is that God-given assignment that you were put on this earth for.
Yeah.
Until you find what your God-given assignment is, and that brings you joy every day. There's no man that's going to bring you joy. The big mansion, the big house, the big whatever. This house that I live in, I bought it when I was single. But I lived in an apartment for many years. I rented for many, many years, but I was still happy. All these are just things, okay? And stop following celebrities that are making you have a false expectation of your life. I've said this many times. If following celebrities is making you feel like you need plastic surgery or you need a bigger boobs, this body you're seeing, this 50-year-old body, I've had zero plastic surgery. You guys see I look 35. That's because I don't stress myself out. If something isn't good for me, I let it go and I move on. I have lots of friends, but I only have maybe one or two that are close to me. You let it go and you take care of yourself. So I'm telling you the key words. If you don't have purpose and your self-esteem is low, your self-confidence is low, you hate your body, you hate your life, you have no business dating. Somebody made a comment on here. I don't remember who it is. There's so many comments. She said, social media has caused me so much trouble in my relationships. Can you please expand on that? Because we want to help you. I don't know what you mean by that. So can you ask a specific question? How has social media caused you a problem so we can help you? I don't remember. I'll have to look for it as we go on. But Kishan, let me ask you the next question. What about married women? Because I know we're talking about dating, but I didn't want to leave married women out of this because I have many married women in my DM every day and I just shake my head and I'm like, I cannot believe you're living day to day in this kind of life. Yeah. What are the 3 most common mistakes married women make in their marriages?
I mean, I think this could both go for married men and women, is that the comfortability. You know, sometimes marriage is like revolved around women a lot. You know, it's like, it's her big day. It's her big day. And a lot of men, it's like, okay, you know, when she gets married, she kind of put a lot of responsibility, you know, on the man. You know, there's a lot of responsibility, good and bad. But he's like, and in his way, it's like, okay, this is pressure. And it goes back to what we were speaking about before, when he becomes, you know, defensive. You know, and, you know, provider, you know, just because he's provided and everything, you know, like that, that's good and all. But I always say that as a married woman, you still have to be, I'm not saying a girlfriend, but you still got to be that person that he first met. Don't think that a wife is a strict job. Well, I got to do the house. Well, I got to buy this. Well, I got to do this. There's just so much to do. I got to watch the kids. You know, I'm doing this. Chill, just relax. Never forget where you came from. Still date, still love, still do the things that you're supposed to do. But what's required more, I strongly believe, was required more in a marriage is communication. Communication and expression. People are not mind readers. We cannot read minds. So you have to, if you feel some type of way, say it. You have to talk. You have to express yourself. People think that, oh, if I'm feeling that type of way, you're supposed to know me. You're my wife. Please, I'm not supposed to know you. I'm not a mind reader. I'm not no superhero with superhuman powers. When we're in this marriage, we're growing. We're still growing, right? I'm still changing every single day. I'm still doing better. I'm still trying to become a better person. My devotionals don't stop when I got married. Me seeking to be a better person don't stop when you get married. And I think that's what men and women in marriages need to understand, and women as well. Just because he got married doesn't mean he's 100% a husband already. He's a husband because you got married. But to be a man, you know, to have the husband, how can I say it? I want to say this really good. I don't want to mess this up. Just because you got married to him, right, doesn't mean that he's not, I got it. Just because you got married to him doesn't mean that he just stopped developing as a husband. Like, you got him. That's him, right? We have to understand that he's developing still. He's still becoming better. He's still changing. He's still becoming a better husband. He's still becoming a better father. He's still growing, right? He's still building up his communication skills, his emotional skills, the way he expresses things to you, because he is human. So stop expecting so much just because you got married. Marriage is not a destination. Like, oh, I just got married, I'm good. It's a journey. You have to marinate. It's like cooking, right? You get to a certain point. So I believe that's exactly, what it is.
I understand exactly what you mean. We're evolving, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people may not understand what we're saying, but because you got married today, you said I do, doesn't mean, oh, your husband is going to be perfection. This house is not, you're both still evolving. Yeah. You still have to communicate. You still have to give each other grace. You still have to be patient. You still have to listen more than speak more. You're still evolving, and you've said your vows, and you have to evolve together. Yeah. However, so you were still talking. You haven't said the 3 things. Okay, because I was going to ask you a question, but I want you to finish the 3 mistakes that married women make.
Yes, and also I think someone just said this too is number oh my God, this is the number two should be number one. But number two is speaking to your friends about your marriages a lot and getting advice from them. You know, a lot of times women, you know, when you get married, you have like a few single friends, men too, and then we'll take advice from people who don't have to live with the consequences, and we take advice from people who've never been married. So they don't know the emotional responsibility and the heartbreak in that whole situation. They're just speaking from a single perspective. Because unless you've been in my shoes, I'm going to take advice from you. If you've never been in my shoes or gave me some kind of, I'm not saying single people don't have good information,
Mhm.
but a lot of times when it has to deal with your spouse, a lot of us run to our friends before we even run to our spouse. A lot of us even run to our friends before we even run to God. A lot of us just, we rather run our mouth before we run to God, right? So one of the things is that be mindful who you're getting your information from.
Mhm.
A lot of us are getting our information from the wrong sources, and it's allowing us to make decisions from a single perspective. We have to understand that when you're married, you cannot think and operate in a single mindset anymore. It's over. That
Yeah.
single thinking about you, it is over. There's a lot
Yes.
of people who wants to be married and who wants to be in a relationship, but don't want to give up the single ways. They still want single benefits, but they are not in tune to the responsibility or the real commitment or the real looking for the other C word um of a relationship, right?
Mhm.
The covenant, you know, of the
Covenant. Yeah.
relationship. Yeah, of the relationship.
Mhm.
So that's definitely number two. We got to watch who we're talking to. Number three is a really good one as well. Number three is, and that's a good one too. I think Monte said it. Don't share a lot with your friends and family. You know, you can
Mhm.
share bits and pieces, but don't go full force into it where
No,
people start feeling sorry for you. They start telling you things, and before you know it, you're getting information from your sister, you get information from your mom, your
I know.
dad, your friend, your
I know.
coworker, the dude at the gym, and all these people is telling you information, and it becomes messy.
Yes.
And then you go to God. Like, God, you know why I'm getting all this information from people? I'm feeling stressed out. And he's like, I've been here the whole time. Where have you been?
Where have you been?
You
Yeah.
know, and but number three is I think somebody set it up there that was excellent. But it was offering people grace and the opportunity to grow.
Yes.
We don't offer grace or space, right? Excuse me. We have two things, right? We have to offer people grace and space.
Mhm.
Relationship needs the grace in order to understand that people make mistakes. Give your partner the space and opportunity to grow on their own and
Mhm.
give them the grace period to make their mistakes. Give them the opportunity to understand that, hey, I know that you're human, right? We think that when you become married or you have a husband or wife, that people aren't still human. People still bleed. People still hurt. People still go through issues. They're going through their own issues. You think because you're married, they're still not going through childhood trauma. You think because you're married, they're still not going through some kind of mommy or daddy issues that happened to them when they were 6, 7 years old. You think that that washed away because you're his wife or that you're her husband. That
Mhm.
doesn't wash away, right? But as the relationship go, we do have to offer grace
Yes.
and people space in order to make their mistakes and heal. And where is your position? I think we need to find out where is our position in the marriage. Sometimes for women, you're all over the place. You're trying to play superhero. You're trying to, oh, baby, you could talk to me. I'm here for you. Sometimes all men need is for you to just chill a little bit, sit back, and stop pressuring it. We'll come
Mhm.
to you when the time is right. And if we don't come to you, I do like when you come off and on. You have to know, right? You have to know when you can speak and when you can. There's a lot of times women, and you do make this mistake, is when you continually say, "Hey, you could talk to me. I'm here for you. Come on, please, please." And he's telling you straight up, "I don't want to talk right now. Just give me some time to think about it, and I'll come back at a later date. Or matter of fact, let's talk tomorrow." But women, you're so adamant and you want to talk at that specific point. Like, hey, let's just come on, please. You know what? You see, whatever. You never want to talk to me, you never want to communicate. He never said that. All he told you was that he doesn't want to talk right then and there at that moment.
I've learned that with time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, like grace, space, and time. You know, things don't have to be rushed, right?
Yeah.
Stop looking at other people's marriages and social media marriages and these relationships that hide the truth behind the phone, but it sent a different message with the picture, right?
Yes.
We have to stop identifying these happy couples and as our relationship. Oh, well, you know what? Tom and Jessica, they're doing this over there. Well, I'm not Tom and Jessica. My name is Keyshawn. Your name is XYZ. We're not them. Let's focus on our home, right? We like to bring other people's ideas into our home. We like
Mm-hmm.
to bring other people's values into our home. We like to bring
Yes.
other people's children's, what they're doing into our home. And that messes up the pot that we're trying to make. That messes up the relationship we're trying to make
Mm-hmm.
in our home. So you have to understand what's your home identity? A lot of us, we don't have a home identity. So now we search for social media, love, and hip hop to build our identity for us in our marriage. And when
Mm-hmm.
these reality shows build our marriage, we have friends and family who builds our marriage. We have podcasts that builds our marriage. We have other pages on we have other pages online that builds our marriage. But we don't even speak to God about, okay, what is our identity as a family? What is our identity as husband and wife? Because you have different identities. You have identity as a husband and wife. You have identity as a father. You have identity as a friend. Like, what is my identity with my wife? What are we supposed to be? What is our value? So I think a lot of times those are the three things.
Whew, we'll have to do this. There has to be a part two to this. You see, I
Hmm.
told you it's already 1:46.
Oh
As
yeah.
you're talking, I'm writing. People are really loving this. God bless you, Kishan, for all of this, because you're really changing a lot of lives. Honestly, I was writing some things down. Now, you said that
Hmm.
married people shouldn't talk to singles. I will add
Hmm.
that even be careful and mindful of the married couples you speak to.
Hmm.
It's not every
Hmm.
married couple. It's not every married couple that has your best interest at heart.
Hmm.
Women, as a woman, I know women have, I'm not saying all women, but quite a big number of women subconsciously have a lot of envy and jealousy in them.
Hmm.
So you have to be careful that you don't go and talk to married women who are envying you and who don't even
Yeah.
like the idea of you anyway, because they're not going to give you the best advice.
No.
So yeah, there are some married people that you have to be careful. For me, I don't, my best friend is on here, Claire.
Hmm.
Aside from Claire, one of my other friends, Kimberly, I don't talk to anybody. I used to talk to my parents, but they're now both in heaven. I don't even talk to my siblings. I only talk to those two women, and I
Hmm.
talk to my husband and my kids, and I open my Bible and I talk to God. Some of you women talk too much, not just in your personal life with your relationships, even with your goals. The reason you can't start that business, the reason you can't be financially free is because you're asking too many people. Talk to God, read
Yeah.
what the Bible tells you to do. Everything, you know what? All the answers you need are in the Bible.
Yeah.
All the Bible verses relates to everything in our lives. I can tell you, if you have a question today, I can open the Bible with you and show you what God
Hmm.
says. So stop talking so much and just look for one or two
Yeah.
people, and that's it. Okay. Kishan, you did say with married women that they still have to date, and I understand what you mean. We still have to be sexy for our husbands. We still have to do all of that.
Hmm.
But married women will tell you that they're tired, that
Hmm.
they're exhausted, that because their husband doesn't help them. I'm telling you from that. That
Yeah.
is what a lot of married women will
Yeah.
say. So how do we solve that? They tell
Yeah.
their husband they have to get a cleaner, they have to get a cook. The Nigerian husband will say, which cook? I want you to cook Nigerian food for me. I'm not eating any chicken breast. I want my hen and I want my stew.
Hmm.
How do you deal with that? Because that does happen. Women are tired. How do you expect a woman who's exhausted to still be sexy and still be nice for you?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's hard. You got to find balance in that, and also, it's less about the woman, but more about the man, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think for the man's part, for the woman, she can't really control how busy she is and how exhausted she is, right?
Mm-hmm.
My daughter, when she goes to school, sometimes for the full day, and she comes home, she can't control her falling asleep on the couch because she's tired. She can't say, you know what, I'm gonna be up. No, she doesn't fall asleep,
Yeah.
right? So it goes to the people like him. He has to have more grace towards her, and he has to understand where she's coming from her point of view. All he's looking at is from his hungry belly. He's just thinking from his stomach. That goes back with thinking from your stomach and thinking from your point of view. When you think about, wow, you know what, she is tired. She's been through what she did. She's doing a lot today. Let me appreciate the things that she did do. Let me it's okay. You know what? I'll get something else. Whatever you can whip up, that's fine. Because I know that this is not going to be a consistent thing. So a lot of times you have to communicate with your partner, but also talk and let the person know how you're feeling when you're feeling it. Because if you don't, then he will consistently think that you're doing a bad job and then he's going to associate that with a bad wife, not understanding that, hey, bro, you got to start communicating with her a little bit better, and she's not a robot. A lot of people, we expect robots. Like, you should be doing this or you should be doing that all the time, every day, all day. And we don't. And women go through a lot of, one thing I realized I was reading is a lot of women go through a lot of chemical and issues as they get older, you know,
Yes.
and we
Yeah.
don't understand that. Sometimes,
Yeah.
and I
When
learned
I'm
this.
having my hot flashes,
Yeah,
it's like, can you please put on the fan and put on,
yeah.
yeah.
Man, every time, sometimes my wife is in bed and I'm like, she's like, I'm tired. I'm like, why? I went to bed early. But I'm like, but you don't understand. She's like, oh, my body hurts. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just, grab the baby. I'm gonna just go cook, make the breakfast. We're gonna play in her room and you close the door and let her sleep. See, there's a lot of times we have to stop in our tracks. And I tell all my clients this. We have to pause in our tracks. And it's a hard thing to do and say, what is this trying to tell me right now? It's less about me, but how is she? How is she feeling? Because it's not about me right now. It's about her. So how can I use this moment to learn, and what can I do right now not to be aggressive? Because sometimes I mean, I'm not perfect, so I catch myself. I'm like, you better get your butt up because I'm not gonna make breakfast for this girl. Because every time I just throw some eggs in there. I just whatever it is. Here you go. And she's, oh, I forgot my chocolate milk. First of all, I don't even know how to make the chocolate milk. So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh. So now I'm stressed out. So my stress level is have me thinking like, okay, I'm blaming her now for something that
Mhm.
she can't even control. So now
Yeah.
I'm saying, okay, why is she in her bed right now? Oh my gosh, this is all the time. Now I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And on top, I got an interview that's coming up. I gotta prepare for this. I gotta climb this. And now instead of saying, you know what, let me just smile because it's not all the time. It's just sometimes.
Yeah.
And we have to get out of our own way and
Hmm.
stop thinking, like that as well. I know I'm gonna make it quick for the take off the live because I know the live is only an hour.
Oh, that's fine. No, oh no, this is good. We'll
Yeah,
have to do part two because
yeah.
the next questions I'm going to have to ask you both together so you can deal with them. Um, Single women that are dating, can you give them some quick questions they should be asking? And can you
Hmm.
let them know it's fine to ask questions? They
Yeah.
don't want to ask, you don't have to ask a question as if it's an interview on date 1 or date 2 or date 3, but you do have to start asking questions. So what are some questions that single
Hmm.
women can ask men that they can then use to figure out, is this guy, is worth my time or should I just move on? That's my
Yeah.
first question. The second question is, can you talk to married women about marriage and sex? My
Hmm.
stepsons are upstairs and I don't.
Hmm.
Married women need to understand that they need to stop saying no. And I know this is a heavily loaded question,
Hmm.
but that it's a problem. You
Hmm.
cannot be married and be saying no to sex all the time.
Hmm. All right. The first question with the dating, I want people to understand too, and I'm gonna say this real briefly, is that dating is gathering information, right? Dating is gathering information. Dating is not, I'm in love with you, I'm trying to look for. Dating is, I want to see if you're a good fit for my life, and I want to see if I'm a good fit for your life. So it's like I'm giving you my resume, and you're giving me your resume. But sometimes everything on a resume isn't true. So that's why, in order to get information, you have to ask the right questions. So some of the questions that you can ask is for a woman asking a man a question is, how is your relationship with your mom? How's your relationship with the females in your life? Because if he says, oh, these females are annoying, they don't know this and that, they're always telling me to do this, they're always telling me to do that, then he will find women demanding. Then you will say, how is your relationship, with your father? Well, he hasn't, been around or whatever it may be, or he has been around and he's very hard on me. Then he might be a reflection of that. Not saying that it's bad, but you can just kind of like get an idea of how his emotions will affect his ideas, how his emotions or how his life would affect the type of man that he's going to be, right? Also, ask him what's his plan. Like, where do you see yourself? Like, just a general question. Where do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years? Oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Then you will say, all right, cool. So what are you doing to get there? But instead of asking, what are you doing to get there? Let's use an example. Well, I'm trying to go to nursing school. And then I'm like, all right, great, great. That's good. So are you in school now? Oh, no, no. I'm still trying to get the money to do that. Oh, all right, no problem. You have a job? So where do you work? Don't say, do you have a job? So where do you work? Oh, I'm still looking for a job right now. That nursing thing ain't gonna happen. I'm not saying it, I'm not trying to put nobody down, but that nursing thing ain't gonna happen because number one, he's not in school yet, right? Number two, he didn't find a job yet. I'm sure he has bills and expenses. So now you got to think like, okay, that nursing school has to pay for it, right? But he still has bills right now that he has to pay. Maybe he might have some debt. So all that money is not going to go into nursing school. In nursing school, you can pay monthly for certain things, but it's going to be a large expense. Then you can start asking questions about, tell me about your last relationship, because you do want to know about not everything. We don't want to go into detail, but I do want to know what happened in your last relationship. So I will say something like, so tell me one thing that happened in your last relationship that changed you, or something that you learned from your last relationship, and if you say, oh, one thing that changed me is enough to trust women because they do this, they'll do this behind your back. Then you start thinking, why? Maybe because there's a reason why you shouldn't trust women. Are you not going to trust me? Oh no, because they're always asking questions. They're always aggressive. Always expecting so much. So then you, as a woman, you start thinking, and because I'm gonna ask you questions if we start dating,
Of course.
are you gonna feel like So those are the questions that you like. There's many more that I have, but there's so much questions that you can ask that you can filter through that and be like, okay, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you. I'll shake your hand. I'll call you if you fit the position. Because
quickly, Kishan, which date is it okay to ask these questions? Date number what? Obviously not date number. I personally tell women dates number 1, 2, and 3. You probably don't want to ask these. So what dates would you say?
Poof, I'm sorry. I would say date number 2 or number 3.
Okay.
Because
that's fine. No, we want to learn from you.
Yeah, because I believe that there's a lot of time there, right?
Okay.
So date number 1 is we're just talking, having a good time. Hey, just having a conversation about where you work, what you do, But in between the dates number 1, 2, and 3, you're still texting and you're still on the phone. So you can always ask those questions in between. For example, hey, who's that person? You're FaceTiming the person. Oh, that's your mom? Okay, cool. Oh, that's nice. So how's your mom doing? Oh, she's good. How's your relationship with her? Yeah, you guys are, oh, no. And then it's the way you say things and how you say it and at the right moment. So you don't have to wait because date number 2, you can follow up on a conversation that you had after date number 1. Date number 3, you can follow up on conversations that you had on the phone during date number 1 and date number 2. So there's always a system that you can play with it and ask the right questions without seeming like, okay, she's asking a bunch of questions.
Yes.
Nah, it's the way you can ask them. Yeah.
Yes. Before you go on to the SCX answer, I'm going to answer some questions really quickly. Let me see here. Somebody said these days they're not even going on a date. Huh?
So one thing, does Instagram end in an hour?
Yes,
60 minutes, right? So we have 3 minutes. So if you want, we could always like ding and then jump back.
We can come back. Yes.
For like 15, 20 minutes.
Like, oh, wonderful. Yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this live now and I will save it and we will be right back because there are many things. Kishan, God bless you. I didn't want to ask because I don't, I'm a boundary person. I don't like getting.
Yeah, 15 minutes is not that bad.
Thank you. God bless you. So everybody come right back. I'm going to end it now. Come right back.